Have you ever wondered if something as routine as masturbation could be holding you back from achieving your fitness goals? If you're someone who spends hours in the gym, working hard to build muscle, it's easy to overlook how your personal habits might be affecting your progress. But here's the question: could masturbation actually be sabotaging your muscle growth? We've all heard the myths. Some say it drains your energy, others claim it lowers your testosterone, and a few even suggest it could hurt your gains. But is there any truth to this? What if I told you that the truth might be more nuanced than you think? In this video, we're going to explore the science behind muscle growth and how masturbation impacts your body and mind. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what's going on inside your body, whether masturbation is truly affecting your progress, and how to strike the perfect balance to maximize your muscle growth while still enjoying the pleasures of life. Stay with me until the end, because some of the answers may surprise you, and you'll want to hear about the tips I'm about to share that could make a big difference in your fitness journey. So let's dive in and find out what's really going on with muscle growth and pleasure. When it comes to muscle growth, the key factor everyone talks about is the workout itself. Lifting weights, pushing your limits, and breaking down muscle fibers are essential to seeing growth. But here's the catch: the work doesn't stop when you leave the gym. Muscle growth is a two-part process. The first part is the workout, where you challenge your muscles to grow, but the second part is recovery. And that's where things can get tricky. Your body needs time to repair and rebuild the muscle fibers you've broken down during your workouts. And this process requires energy, resources, and crucially, your hormones. One of the most important hormones involved in muscle growth is testosterone. It's the driving force behind muscle repair and growth, and it's absolutely essential for building strength. Testosterone helps increase protein synthesis in your muscles, which is the process your body uses to repair and build muscle tissue. The higher your testosterone levels, the better your muscles can grow. Growth hormone is another important player, as it helps with tissue repair, fat burning, and muscle regeneration. But what happens when something interferes with this natural cycle? What happens if your body is distracted from its recovery process by something else? This is where we need to consider how masturbation might fit into the picture. The thing is, muscle growth is a delicate balance between work and recovery. Too much stress on your muscles without enough recovery time can actually slow down the muscle building process. Similarly, any factor that might distract your body from fully recovering, whether it's stress, lack of sleep, or yes, even masturbation, can interfere with the process. Let's break it down a bit more. During muscle growth, your body needs to maintain a certain hormonal balance. Testosterone needs to be high to promote muscle development. But as we know, the body is constantly in flux, and various factors can influence testosterone levels. Now, before we dive into how masturbation plays into this, it's important to understand that muscle growth is heavily reliant on rest, specifically sleep. Sleep is when your body is at its most restorative state. It's when the muscles rebuild, growth hormones are released, and your body gets the time it needs to replenish. But here's the kicker: when you're in the midst of sexual arousal or orgasm, your body experiences a hormonal surge. This includes a release of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, which are all great for pleasure and relaxation, but not always great for muscle growth. While these hormones are fantastic for enhancing mood and promoting satisfaction, they don't necessarily help the muscle recovery process. In fact, the release of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical, can actually cause you to feel mentally satisfied and relaxed, but not in a way that helps muscle repair. Let's get more specific. After orgasm, there's a temporary dip in testosterone levels. Research shows that immediately following orgasm, testosterone levels can drop, which might cause a short-term impact on your energy and motivation. This could potentially affect your workouts, especially if you're feeling tired, lethargic, or mentally unfocused after masturbation. It's a quick drop, and testosterone typically returns to normal after a few hours. But for that short window, it can affect both your physical performance and mental clarity. In other words, while masturbation itself isn't a deal breaker for muscle growth, if you're constantly engaging in masturbation just before a workout, it might not give you the boost of energy and testosterone that you'd otherwise need for optimal training. This doesn't mean you can't masturbate and still make gains, but it's all about timing. Masturbation can leave you feeling mentally relaxed, but for some it could leave you feeling a bit sluggish, which could impact your workout intensity if done at the wrong time. But there's a bit more to this. Masturbation also plays a role in recovery time. After a workout, your muscles need time to repair. This recovery process is essential for growth. And if you're continually interrupting your recovery by engaging in high-stimulation activities like frequent masturbation, it could potentially affect how long it takes for your muscles to fully recuperate. This can leave you feeling physically drained, mentally foggy, and not in peak shape for your next training session. Now don't panic. Masturbation doesn't destroy muscle growth, but the key is moderation and timing. If you're working out and focusing on serious strength training, it's a good idea to pace your sexual activity to ensure that you're not distracting your body from its ability to recover and regenerate muscles. Masturbating just before your workout could be a problem, but scheduling your personal time well after your workouts, or on rest days, may not hinder your muscle progress at all. So let's recap. The process of building muscle doesn't stop at the gym. It's just as much about your recovery time, sleep, and hormonal balance. The role of testosterone in muscle repair and growth is pivotal, and masturbation has the potential to cause a short-term dip in testosterone levels, making it harder for your body to build muscle in the immediate hours following orgasm. If you're already training hard, the last thing you want is your body distracted from its recovery process. This doesn't mean you need to cut out masturbation altogether. It's about being aware of when and how much you're engaging in it in relation to your fitness routine. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into how masturbation affects your hormones, and whether that dip in testosterone actually leads to long-term setbacks in muscle growth. It's time to address some common myths and give you the real facts. Keep watching to find out what the science says and how you can manage your habits for maximum gains. Now that we've explored how muscle growth works and why recovery is just as important as the workout itself, let's take a deep dive into how masturbation affects your hormones, particularly testosterone, which is crucial for muscle building. You've probably heard the claim that masturbation lowers your testosterone levels. But is there any truth to that? And more importantly, does this dip in testosterone actually interfere with your muscle growth? Let's break it down. First, let's understand the role of testosterone in your body. Testosterone is the primary hormone responsible for muscle development, strength, and overall vitality. It's essential for protein synthesis, the process by which your muscles rebuild after exercise, and it helps to maintain muscle mass over time. Simply put, the higher your testosterone, the more likely you are to experience effective muscle growth. So it makes sense that if something were to lower your testosterone, it could potentially slow down your progress. This brings us to the big question. Does masturbation have any significant effect on testosterone? Many people believe that after orgasm, testosterone levels plummet, leaving you feeling weak, lethargic, and less motivated to work out. And while this is partly true, the real story is a bit more nuanced. The truth is, testosterone levels fluctuate throughout the day, and various factors can cause temporary dips, including stress, sleep, diet, and yes, even sexual activity. Let's break down what happens during masturbation. When you reach orgasm, your body releases a variety of chemicals. Dopamine, the feel-good chemical, floods your brain and creates feelings of pleasure and satisfaction. Along with dopamine, oxytocin is also released, which is known as the bonding hormone. Oxytocin helps create a sense of relaxation, trust, and calm, and it's often linked to emotional satisfaction after sex. Both dopamine and oxytocin contribute to that feeling of contentment that many people experience after orgasm. But here's the catch. Along with these feel-good chemicals, there is also a temporary dip in testosterone. Studies show that testosterone levels can drop immediately after orgasm, but this is only a short-term dip. Testosterone typically returns to baseline levels within a few hours after ejaculation. The key point here is that the drop in testosterone after orgasm is temporary, and it does not result in a lasting decrease in overall testosterone levels. What's more, the impact of this drop on muscle growth is likely minimal. A single short-term dip in testosterone isn't going to sabotage your muscle-building progress. In fact, if you're working out regularly and maintaining a balanced lifestyle, this temporary drop won't have much of an effect on your gains. However, the situation can be different if masturbation becomes a frequent habit, especially if it's done excessively and without moderation. In those cases, the effects can become more noticeable. If you're masturbating multiple times a day or engaging in frequent sexual activity, it could result in reduced energy, lower motivation, and an ongoing drain on your testosterone reserves. The more frequently your body goes through this cycle, the harder it may be to fully recover and maintain the testosterone levels that are essential for muscle repair. But again, this is more about excessive behavior rather than the act of masturbation itself. So, is masturbation killing your gains? Not exactly. It's important to understand that testosterone levels are not solely dictated by masturbation. Lifestyle factors like sleep, nutrition, and stress have a far more significant impact on your testosterone levels than the occasional session of self-pleasure. If you're getting enough rest, eating a well-balanced diet, and managing stress effectively, your testosterone will stay in healthy ranges regardless of your sexual habits. But as we mentioned earlier, timing can be a factor. Masturbating just before your workout can leave you feeling mentally relaxed and physically less energized, thanks to the temporary hormonal shift that follows orgasm. The feeling of being spent after orgasm could potentially affect your ability to push yourself during your workout. The mental fog that some people experience after masturbation could impact your focus and motivation in the gym, making it harder to get the most out of your training session. This doesn't mean you should completely avoid masturbation before a workout. Just be mindful of how it makes you feel and whether it affects your performance. Another factor to consider is the impact of masturbation on your energy levels. After orgasm, many people experience a period of relaxation and fatigue. This is perfectly normal, as your body goes through a recovery process, releasing chemicals that promote relaxation. If you're engaging in masturbation regularly, you may start to notice that this feeling of fatigue begins to affect your overall energy levels, especially if it's done frequently throughout the day. When you feel physically drained or mentally sluggish, it can become more difficult to stay motivated to work out, and this can make it harder to stay consistent with your training. However, it's important to note that this fatigue doesn't necessarily come from a long-term depletion of testosterone. Instead, it's more about temporary physical and mental relaxation. The good news is that moderation is key. Masturbating in moderation doesn't have to interfere with your muscle-building goals. If anything, it can serve as a healthy outlet for stress, help you relax, and even improve your sleep, all of which can benefit your overall fitness journey. If you're aiming for optimal results, consider managing your sexual habits around your training schedule. You don't need to quit masturbating altogether, just be strategic about when you engage in it. For example, scheduling masturbation on rest days or after workouts can allow your body to fully recover and rebuild muscle tissue without compromising your energy levels or hormonal balance. At the end of the day, masturbation in moderation is unlikely to have any lasting negative effects on your muscle growth. If anything, the overall effects of masturbation on testosterone levels are far less significant than many people believe. What matters more is how you manage the rest of your lifestyle, your sleep, your nutrition, and your stress levels. By staying balanced in all aspects of your life, you can ensure that your body is in the best possible shape to recover, grow, and succeed. In the next section, we'll dive deeper into the psychological effects of masturbation. While the hormonal impact is one piece of the puzzle, it's not the whole story. Stay tuned as we discuss how masturbation affects your motivation, focus, and overall mindset, and what you can do to optimize your mental state for muscle growth. We've discussed how masturbation can impact your body on a hormonal level, but now let's dive deeper into the psychological effects. These might not be as obvious as the hormonal shifts, but they can be just as influential on your overall progress in the gym. When it comes to muscle growth, it's not just about what your body is doing physically, it's also about your mindset, focus, and motivation. So how does masturbation fit into the mental aspect of fitness? Is it hindering your progress by draining your mental energy, or can it actually help you relax and refocus? Let's start by talking about what happens to your mental state after masturbation. For many, after orgasm, there's a natural feeling of relaxation or even mild fatigue. This is part of the body's process of recovery, similar to how you might feel sleepy after a big meal. The release of dopamine and oxytocin after orgasm creates a sense of pleasure and satisfaction, which can make you feel mentally at ease. On the positive side, this can be great for stress relief, especially if you've had a long, difficult day. But on the flip side, this mental relaxation can sometimes be mistaken for mental exhaustion, leaving you feeling sluggish or unmotivated, particularly if you've just engaged in a high-energy workout or are trying to push yourself to be more productive. For some people, this post-orgasmic feeling of fatigue can make it harder to get back into a focused state. If you're someone who struggles with motivation or mental clarity, that dip in mental energy after masturbation might make it difficult to dive straight back into a productive workout or stay focused on your fitness goals. Instead of feeling energized and ready to hit the gym, you might find yourself just wanting to relax and unwind on the couch. This is where the issue of timing becomes important. Masturbating just before a workout could potentially leave you feeling a little more mentally drained, especially if you were already feeling tired or distracted before you started. It's also worth considering how masturbation can affect your focus. For many people, self-pleasure can be a deeply satisfying and relaxing experience, but that sense of satisfaction doesn't always translate into motivation or drive for other tasks, like hitting the gym. There's a connection between feeling mentally satisfied and feeling like you've already checked off a box for personal gratification. In a sense, this might make it harder for you to feel that same level of drive or focus that you need to push through an intense workout. The brain's focus isn't always linear, and sometimes after orgasm it feels more difficult to focus on tasks that require physical energy or exertion. You might feel like you've already expended the energy you needed to feel good, so working out might feel like too much effort. This psychological impact doesn't mean masturbation is inherently bad for your fitness progress. It's about understanding how your mind works and how your actions influence your motivation. If you feel mentally drained or unfocused after masturbation, it doesn't mean you're destined to fail. It simply means that moderation and timing matter. Recognizing when you feel mentally sharp and when you need to let yourself relax can be the key to making sure you stay on track with your fitness goals. There's also the issue of guilt or emotional attachment to masturbation. For some individuals, there's a subconscious feeling that self-pleasure is wrong or distracting, especially if they have high-performance goals or feel like they should be focusing entirely on their workout. If you've ever felt guilty after masturbating because you think it's taking away from your muscle-building progress, that guilt can actually create a cycle of negative thoughts. Instead of viewing it as a natural part of your body's rhythms, you might begin associating masturbation with failure or disappointment, which is both unhelpful and unnecessary. This mental strain can worsen the impact masturbation has on your motivation. Instead of creating a toxic relationship with masturbation, consider viewing it as a natural part of life that doesn't need to be stigmatized. Healthy sexuality and muscle building aren't mutually exclusive. By eliminating guilt and learning how to integrate these aspects of your life, you'll find that your mind remains clearer, more focused, and less distracted by unnecessary emotional baggage. When you stop feeling like you're sabotaging your gains, you'll find it easier to stay motivated and committed to both your fitness and personal life. Now, let's talk about stress relief. Believe it or not, masturbation can actually have a positive effect on your mental state in the long run. If you're someone who's constantly dealing with high levels of stress, it's important to recognize that mental stress can also be a major obstacle to muscle growth. Stress releases cortisol, the stress hormone, which can break down muscle tissue and hinder the recovery process. If you're constantly stressed out and not allowing your body to relax and reset, it can significantly affect your ability to build muscle. In contrast, masturbation can help reduce cortisol levels, providing a moment of relaxation and mental release. This reduction in stress can actually benefit your body, helping it recover more effectively and keeping your mind clearer. If you're feeling mentally overwhelmed, engaging in masturbation in a healthy and moderate way can be a good outlet to help reduce stress and reset your mindset. Lower stress levels also mean better sleep, better focus, and better energy, everything that's vital for muscle growth. But here's the key point: it's all about balance. Masturbation can certainly be a positive thing when used to unwind, relieve stress, and improve sleep. However, when it's done excessively, or without consideration for timing, it can have negative psychological effects. The trick is finding the sweet spot, engaging in self-pleasure in a way that doesn't interfere with your training, recovery, and overall motivation. So how do you manage this balance? It comes down to recognizing your mental state and finding strategies to optimize your focus. If you notice that you feel mentally foggy or unmotivated after masturbating, it might be a sign that you should reconsider your timing. Perhaps save masturbation for a rest day, or after a workout when your body is already in a relaxed state, so you're not disrupting your focus during an intense gym session. On the other hand, if you feel that masturbation actually helps you relax, reduce stress, and get a better night's sleep, there's no reason to feel guilty about it. At the end of the day, the psychological effects of masturbation are just as important as the physical ones. Masturbation, when done in moderation, doesn't need to interfere with your fitness goals. In fact, it could actually enhance your mental state, reduce stress, and improve your focus, key factors in muscle growth and overall well-being. The key is understanding how it fits into your routine, your recovery process, and your mindset. In the next section, we'll explore when masturbation can actually benefit your progress and the surprising role it can play in relaxation, sleep, and mental clarity. Stick around for some unexpected truths that might change the way you think about balancing pleasure and progress. By now, you might be thinking that masturbation can only negatively affect your muscle growth, whether through hormonal changes, loss of motivation, or fatigue. But here's the truth. While overindulgence and poor timing can interfere with your fitness goals, masturbation doesn't have to be the enemy. In fact, when used properly and in moderation, masturbation can actually be beneficial to both your mental health and muscle growth. Let's explore how masturbation, when done in a balanced way, can help you with stress relief, relaxation, and recovery, ultimately enhancing your overall fitness journey. First, let's talk about stress relief. We live in a world that's full of stress. Whether it's work, personal issues, or just the daily grind, stress can have a huge impact on our health, especially on our muscles. Chronic stress releases a hormone called cortisol, which is fine in small amounts, but can be catabolic in the long term. In other words, elevated cortisol levels can actually break down muscle tissue, making it harder to build or maintain muscle mass. If you're constantly under stress, this can also mess with your recovery and even your workouts, leading to fatigue, reduced performance, and increased injury risk. Now, here's where masturbation can play a positive role. Masturbation triggers the release of endorphins and oxytocin, both of which help to counterbalance cortisol. These feel-good hormones can provide immediate relief from stress, calm your nerves, and give you a sense of well-being. When you experience this release of tension, your body enters a more relaxed state, which is important for recovery. You can think of masturbation as a natural form of relaxation that helps your body and mind release pent-up stress and recharge. This process is important for anyone who is regularly pushing themselves in the gym, because it allows your body to stay balanced, avoiding the physical and mental toll that constant stress can take on your overall well-being. But the benefits don't stop at stress relief. Masturbation can also improve sleep quality, which is crucial for muscle recovery. If you've ever had a tough workout, you know how important sleep is for your body to repair and grow muscle tissue. Growth hormone is released during deep sleep, and it plays a crucial role in the repair and regeneration of muscles. However, if you're stressed, anxious, or just can't relax, your body may not reach the deep, restorative sleep it needs. This is where masturbation can help. The release of oxytocin and dopamine after orgasm can promote better sleep quality by inducing a relaxed state, helping you fall asleep faster and experience deeper sleep cycles. Here's the science behind it. When you masturbate, your body's parasympathetic nervous system is activated. This is the rest and digest system, which slows down your heart rate and relaxes your muscles, ultimately making it easier to drift into a peaceful sleep. When your body is fully rested and recovers overnight, you wake up feeling more refreshed, energized, and ready for your next workout. Consistent, high-quality sleep allows your muscles to repair and grow, which is exactly what you need to make progress in the gym. In fact, research has shown that people who are well rested and sleep for the recommended amount of time see greater muscle recovery and performance improvements. The role of masturbation in promoting relaxation and better sleep cannot be overstated. If you're someone who struggles with falling asleep or staying asleep after intense workouts, masturbation might be the perfect way to help you unwind. It's an excellent natural tool for improving sleep quality, which directly contributes to muscle repair, mental clarity, and overall recovery. Now let's talk about mental clarity and focus. We often hear that masturbation can leave you feeling foggy or unmotivated. But did you know that, in moderation, masturbation can actually improve your mental clarity? After orgasm, the body releases a flood of dopamine, the brain's reward chemical. This release of dopamine doesn't just give you a moment of pleasure, it also helps boost your mood, increase motivation, and restore a sense of mental well-being. If you've been feeling stressed, anxious, or mentally drained, masturbation can help reset your mental state, allowing you to approach your workouts with a clearer and more positive mindset. Furthermore, many athletes and fitness enthusiasts use sexual release as a form of mental relief to clear their heads before or after a workout. It's a healthy form of self-care that in moderation can leave you feeling more focused and rejuvenated. When you feel better mentally, your workout intensity and performance can improve, because you're no longer bogged down by distractions or negative thoughts. That said, there's a fine line between balance and overindulgence. Masturbating too frequently can lead to a feeling of lethargy, making it harder to find the energy for a productive workout. But if you use masturbation strategically as a way to release tension, improve sleep, and enhance your mental clarity, you can experience improved focus and greater workout intensity. It's all about moderation and timing. If you find that masturbation helps you feel mentally at ease and ready to take on a challenging workout, then it could be an asset to your routine. Let's also address a common misconception. Masturbation does not diminish your energy in the long run, at least not when it's done in moderation. Yes, there might be a brief post-orgasmic lull in energy, but this is temporary and doesn't last. In fact, studies have shown that regular moderate masturbation can be a healthy outlet for sexual frustration or stress, which in turn can lead to increased levels of well-being and reduced anxiety. The key is finding a balance between self-pleasure and the rest of your life. When it's done mindfully, masturbation doesn't drain your energy or compromise your fitness progress. It can actually enhance your ability to focus, recover, and stay motivated. So, how do you integrate masturbation into your life in a way that supports rather than undermines your progress? The trick is to listen to your body and find out when it works best for you. Masturbating after a workout, when your body is already in a state of relaxation and recovery, might be the ideal time to give yourself that mental break. Alternatively, saving it for rest days can allow you to stay sharp and focused when it's time to hit the gym. The key is moderation, and ensuring that your sexual habits don't take away from the energy, focus, or recovery you need for muscle growth. Up until now, we've explored how masturbation, in moderation, can actually have positive effects on your muscle growth journey by reducing stress, promoting better sleep, and improving mental clarity. But here's the catch. Like with anything in life, too much of anything can become problematic. So, while moderate masturbation might be beneficial, what happens when it's taken too far? Can excessive masturbation actually become a hindrance to your fitness progress? The simple answer is yes. Overdoing it can. Let's begin by acknowledging a fundamental truth. Energy is finite. We only have so much energy, both mentally and physically, to expend in a given day. When you're training hard at the gym, your body needs to prioritize recovery to rebuild muscle, repair tissue, and keep you strong for your next session. The process of muscle recovery requires a lot of energy. Protein synthesis, the release of growth hormones, and the restoration of damaged muscle fibers take time and resources. But what happens when your body's energy is divided between too many activities that require focus, effort, or stimulation, such as frequent masturbation? When masturbation becomes more than just occasional release, the energy and mental focus you need for recovery and workouts can be depleted. After a satisfying orgasm, your body experiences a temporary relaxation phase. As we've discussed, this includes the release of dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, hormones that promote relaxation, happiness, and a sense of contentment. This is great for mental well-being, but it can leave you feeling physically drained, especially if you're engaging in masturbation too often. Frequent release of these pleasure hormones can lead to a drop in motivation and energy, at least temporarily. For someone committed to muscle growth, this temporary drop in energy can start to affect performance. Here's the thing. If you're constantly expending your energy in this way, whether through masturbation or any other high-stimulation activity, you're reducing the mental and physical reserves you need to focus on your workouts. The more you deplete your energy in one area, the less energy you'll have for others, especially for high-performance activities like intense exercise. This is where the issue starts to arise. Excessive masturbation can lead to overall fatigue, and over time this may result in a loss of motivation to train at full intensity or even the willingness to hit the gym at all. Now let's talk about testosterone again. While we've already established that masturbation causes a temporary dip in testosterone levels, Excessive masturbation could potentially have a more prolonged impact on your body's hormonal balance. Testosterone is a critical hormone for muscle growth, and if your body is constantly going through cycles of high dopamine and oxytocin release, with frequent testosterone dips, it could impact your long-term energy levels and overall muscle-building progress. One of the biggest risks of excessive masturbation is muscle recovery. You've heard it before, but it's worth repeating. Muscle growth doesn't happen while you're in the gym. It happens when you're resting and recovering. And if you're exhausting your physical and mental resources with frequent sexual release, your recovery process can be compromised. The more energy you expend on one area, the less you have to give to your muscle regeneration. When your muscles don't have the chance to fully recover, they can't grow at the rate they should. This means that no matter how hard you train, you might see limited progress. This is where the danger of overindulgence lies. To put it simply, muscle growth is about balance. You need to find the right equilibrium between working out, eating enough to fuel muscle growth, and resting for recovery. Excessive masturbation can throw off this balance, leading to overtraining, fatigue, and a lack of focus, all of which hinder the muscle-building process. It's not about the frequency of masturbation itself, but about the energy it consumes. And if you're expending too much energy on one area, without balancing it with the energy needed for your fitness goals, you'll notice a slowdown in progress. Another potential risk of overdoing it is the psychological impact. Just like how physical overtraining can take a toll on your body, mental overtraining can have a significant impact on your mental health and overall focus. If masturbation becomes a frequent habit, it might affect how you view your motivation and discipline. Over time, you may start to feel guilt or shame, especially if you feel like it's interfering with your ability to stay committed to your workouts. This can lead to a negative cycle of mental exhaustion, further hampering your ability to maintain the focus needed for muscle growth. Instead of feeling motivated and energized to hit the gym, you might start associating self-pleasure with feelings of unproductivity or distraction, which can impact your overall mindset. There's also a concept of habit formation. When you engage in any activity frequently, including masturbation, it becomes a habit. If it's paired with stress relief, you may start to rely on it more and more as a way to cope with life's challenges. The problem arises when it starts to interfere with your focus and productivity. You might find yourself more likely to skip workouts, or you might feel unmotivated to train because you're preoccupied with the desire for self-pleasure. In the long run, too much reliance on masturbation as a coping mechanism can lead to a lack of mental resilience, which is essential for pushing through challenging workouts and maintaining focus in all areas of life. So how much is too much? Moderation is key. Masturbation in moderation doesn't significantly affect your muscle growth. Quite the opposite, in fact. It can help you relieve stress, sleep better, and maintain your mental focus. But once it becomes frequent to the point where it begins to sap your energy, deplete your motivation, and interfere with your workouts, it's time to reassess. Setting healthy boundaries around your sexual habits will ensure that you're not compromising your fitness goals or your mental health. At this point, we've discussed how masturbation can impact your muscle growth in both positive and negative ways, and we've explored the importance of balance. The bottom line is that moderation is key. But how do you achieve that balance? How do you manage your sexual habits in a way that supports your muscle growth rather than hindering it? In this section, we'll dive into some practical tips that will help you integrate masturbation into your life without sacrificing your fitness goals. These strategies will help you maintain mental clarity, physical energy, and overall motivation while still enjoying the benefits of self-pleasure. First, let's talk about timing. When it comes to maximizing your muscle growth, timing is everything. Masturbation right before a workout can leave you feeling physically relaxed and mentally unfocused, which might hinder your performance. This happens because the hormones released after orgasm, such as dopamine and oxytocin, trigger feelings of relaxation, satisfaction, and contentment. While these hormones are great for relieving stress, they can also leave you feeling drained and less motivated to hit the gym with full intensity. The solution: consider scheduling masturbation either after your workout or on rest days. Masturbating after your workout can help your body relax and unwind after the intense physical exertion of a training session. By this time, your body has already gone through the necessary movements, and you can indulge in relaxation without compromising your recovery. On rest days, masturbation can serve as a natural form of stress relief, providing a mental break while you allow your muscles to recover. This way, you're not letting masturbation interfere with your focus during your workouts, and you're also giving your body time to recover and regenerate muscle tissue. Both mentally and physically, this strategy helps you stay energized, focused, and on track with your goals. Now, let's talk about frequency. If you're someone who masturbates frequently, it's crucial to assess whether this frequency is affecting your energy levels or performance. As we've discussed, excessive masturbation can lead to fatigue, reduced motivation, and energy depletion, which can ultimately hinder your workout progress. The key is to find a balance that works for you. You don't need to give up self-pleasure entirely, but you might want to experiment with cutting back a bit if you're noticing a drop in energy or motivation. Instead of viewing masturbation as a daily habit, think of it as an occasional release. Aim for moderation, such as engaging in masturbation a few times a week, or only when you're feeling physically and mentally relaxed. When you reduce frequency and avoid turning masturbation into a compulsive habit, you'll give yourself more energy and focus for your workouts, helping you to achieve better results in the gym. Also, consider using masturbation as a tool for relaxation rather than stress. Many people use self-pleasure to relieve tension or clear their mind, and when used in this way, it can actually help enhance recovery and reduce stress. But if you're using masturbation as a coping mechanism for stress or emotional issues, it could lead to negative patterns that impact your overall fitness. Remember, the goal is to keep masturbation a healthy, natural part of your life, rather than a way to escape or avoid problems. By keeping it occasional and aligned with your fitness goals, you can avoid the risk of burnout or guilt that often comes with excessive indulgence. Next up, let's address the mental aspect of masturbation and its connection to fitness. One of the most powerful things you can do for your mental health and fitness progress is to eliminate guilt and shame associated with self-pleasure. Many people feel bad about masturbating, especially if they associate it with laziness or a lack of discipline. But it's important to realize that masturbation is a natural and healthy part of life. When you stop viewing it as a negative activity, you'll free yourself from mental barriers that could hold you back from fully committing to your fitness journey. Instead of feeling guilty, try to embrace the fact that masturbation can reduce stress, promote relaxation, and even improve sleep quality, all of which are crucial for muscle recovery. If you do feel any post-masturbation guilt, take a moment to reflect on how self-pleasure has actually helped you, rather than hindered you. It's important to remind yourself that you're simply engaging in a natural process of self-care, not something that takes away from your goal. Now let's talk about physical health. Another tip for maintaining a balance between pleasure and progress is to keep your overall physical health in check. As we've seen, the act of masturbation itself isn't what ruins your progress, it's excessive behavior that becomes problematic. If you're struggling with fatigue or low energy, it could be a sign that you're not taking proper care of your body. This includes adequate hydration, proper nutrition, and consistent exercise. The more you take care of your body on a physical level, the better you'll feel when it comes time for your workouts and when engaging in personal pleasure. When you're fueling your body with nutrient-dense food, staying hydrated, and getting adequate sleep, you'll notice that both your workouts and your recovery sessions improve. A well-rounded approach to health gives you the mental and physical stamina you need to strike the right balance. Another important piece of the puzzle is stress management. We've already touched on how masturbation can help reduce stress in the short term, but it's important to recognize that stress management is a long-term strategy. If you're someone who feels constantly stressed or anxious, it can have a profound effect on your overall health, energy levels, and performance. Finding other healthy outlets for managing stress, such as meditation, yoga, journaling, or deep breathing exercises, can help complement masturbation's stress-relieving effects. By incorporating these techniques into your life, you'll give your body a holistic approach to managing tension and recovery, making it easier to stay on track with your muscle growth goals. When you manage your stress levels well, you'll be able to experience better workouts, recovery, and more consistent muscle growth. Finally, remember that muscle growth is a long-term commitment. There's no magic solution, no one thing that will make all the difference in your progress. But small adjustments in how you approach your fitness, nutrition, and personal habits can make a huge impact over time. Masturbation, when used in moderation and with the right mindset, can be part of a healthy lifestyle that includes physical fitness, mental clarity, and emotional well-being. So in summary, the key to integrating masturbation into your life without hindering your progress is to focus on balance, pay attention to timing, frequency, and mental clarity. Don't let self-pleasure become a source of guilt or distraction. Embrace it as part of your overall wellness. By managing your energy wisely, taking care of your body, and keeping your mindset positive, you can enjoy the benefits of both fitness and pleasure, and see the progress you've been working so hard for. So after everything we've discussed, the big question remains, does masturbation really sabotage your muscle growth? The short answer is, it doesn't have to. In fact, it's possible to maintain both your fitness goals and your personal pleasures. But here's the key, moderation and balance are essential. Just like anything else in life, overindulgence can cause problems. But when managed properly, masturbation can be a healthy and natural part of your life without interfering with your muscle-building progress. Let's review some of the main points we've covered. First, we learned that muscle growth is a two-part process. It's about both working out and recovering. Without proper recovery time, muscle growth slows down. Recovery involves rest, sleep, and the proper levels of hormones like testosterone and growth hormone. While masturbation can cause a temporary dip in testosterone, this doesn't mean that your muscle-building efforts are over. The drop is short-lived, and when done in moderation, masturbation doesn't significantly disrupt the recovery process. So no, you don't need to be afraid that an occasional self-pleasure session will leave you weak and unmotivated. However, if you overdo it and make masturbation a frequent habit, you might begin to notice a drain in your energy levels and mental focus. This can lead to a decrease in motivation and a feeling of being mentally foggy, which can have a serious impact on your workouts. That's why we recommend a more mindful approach to how often and when you choose to masturbate. It's about finding that balance between satisfying your needs and maintaining the energy, focus, and drive you need to make progress in the gym. We also talked about the psychological effects of masturbation, how it can serve as a great tool for stress relief and mental relaxation when used in moderation. Life can be stressful, and sometimes the mental toll of a busy lifestyle can make it hard to focus on fitness or stay motivated to train. Masturbation in this context can be an effective way to unwind, reduce anxiety, and improve your mental clarity. The release of feel-good hormones like dopamine and oxytocin helps your body relax, and that relaxation can actually help you recover better, sleep more soundly, and approach your workouts with a more positive mindset. However, like with physical energy, mental energy is also finite. Using masturbation as a way to deal with stress is perfectly fine, but relying on it as a habit to cope with life's challenges can lead to negative mental patterns. If you're constantly seeking out self-pleasure to avoid stress or emotional discomfort, you might find yourself neglecting other healthy coping mechanisms, like exercising, practicing mindfulness, or seeking support from friends and family. It's important to find a healthy balance and ensure that masturbation is part of a well-rounded strategy for managing both physical and mental health. In terms of timing and frequency, we explored how making small changes to when you masturbate can have a significant impact on your performance in the gym. Masturbating just before a workout can leave you feeling mentally and physically drained, which could reduce the intensity of your training. On the other hand, scheduling masturbation after your workout or on rest days can be a great way to unwind and boost recovery. By being mindful of timing, you can continue to enjoy the benefits of self-pleasure without compromising your physical performance. We also covered how excessive masturbation, whether it's a mental or physical habit, can interfere with your recovery and motivation. It's not the occasional release that's the problem, but when self-pleasure becomes a frequent, habitual act that drains your energy and mental clarity. In these cases, it's important to recognize when masturbation is no longer serving your fitness goals and is starting to hinder your progress. The key to managing your energy and maintaining a healthy balance is moderation, both in how often you engage in masturbation and how you time it in relation to your workouts. But here's something important to remember. Muscle growth, just like life itself, is about balance. Fitness goals aren't achieved through extremes. It's not about abstinence or overindulgence, but about being mindful of your body's needs and how all aspects of your lifestyle work together to support your overall well-being. Masturbation, when integrated thoughtfully into your routine, doesn't need to be an obstacle. Instead, It can become a part of a holistic approach to health and fitness that nurtures both your physical and emotional well-being. Let's wrap it up with some actionable steps you can take to maintain balance. Listen to your body. Pay attention to how you feel before and after masturbation. If you notice a consistent dip in energy or motivation, it might be time to reassess your habits. Are you feeling mentally drained after masturbation? If so, consider cutting back or adjusting your timing. Time it right. Try to avoid masturbating right before a workout. Masturbating after a workout or on rest days can help with recovery and relaxation without interfering with your energy for training. Find your frequency. Experiment with the frequency of masturbation. If you find that daily masturbation is affecting your motivation or energy levels, try reducing the frequency and see how it impacts your physical and mental state. Prioritize your overall health. Make sure your diet, sleep, and stress levels are all in check. A healthy lifestyle will naturally support both your muscle-building goals and your pleasure. Don't be guilty. Remember, masturbation is a natural part of life. There's no need to feel guilty about it unless it's negatively affecting your goals. Embrace it as part of a well-rounded, healthy lifestyle. At the end of the day, the question is not whether masturbation is sabotaging your progress, but how you manage it in the context of your goals. It's about finding a balance that allows you to pursue both physical fitness and emotional well-being, without sacrificing one for the other. When you optimize your habits and stay mindful of your body and mind, you can continue to make progress in the gym, feel great about yourself, and enjoy the natural pleasures life has to offer. I hope this video has helped you understand the relationship between muscle growth and self-pleasure, and how you can find the right balance for yourself. If you've learned something new today, or if this video helped you reframe how you think about fitness and personal pleasure, I'd love to hear from you. Drop a comment below and share your thoughts. What works for you? How do you find the balance? Your comments not only help create a community but also motivate us to keep providing content that's practical and valuable for your journey. If you haven't subscribed yet, be sure to hit that subscribe button and turn on the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos that can help you achieve your fitness goals, improve your mental well-being, and live a balanced, healthy life. Thanks for watching, and we look forward to seeing you in the next video.